And we are back. Welcome back to another episode of, I almost said the Legends RTG. Been spending too much time on the gaming channel. Link down in the description. Welcome back to another episode of the prediction series. Today it is the return of the Champions League after another horrendous night of VAR for Wolverhampton Wanderers. And I feel really sorry for Gary O'Neill, and probably you guys should as well. But we move away from the Premier League to concentrate on another week of European football. And as always, that means a Champions League video today. 2 Champions League videos tomorrow, including a Manchester United reaction, and then our Europa League and Europa Conference League predictions on Thursday before we return to the Premier League on Friday. We have got 8 more matches for you today, and we've got some really spicy ones for you as well. So before we get into it, if you haven't done so already, please do consider dropping a like on this video if you do enjoy my prediction series, and subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of the content we've got coming up this week. Let's get into all the action, and we start off in Group E with the first of the early kickoffs between Lazio and Celtic. Now, as always, I am going to massively disrespect Celtic because I just don't think the Scottish football teams are very good and probably shouldn't be in Europe, and I always end up predicting Celtic to lose. They did lose at home to Lazio in the first game of this group. It finished 2-1 due to a very, very late winner from Lazio. The only interesting one going into this is that in their last 5 matches, Lazio haven't scored more than 1 goal, including losing 2-1 to bottom of the league Salernitana at the weekend. I still think they're going to beat Celtic, though, and their home record is very, very good. And I'm going to go for a 2-0 win to Lazio, ending that streak of games with their only scoring 1 goal. The other game in the group, I think, is a lot tighter to call. I really do rate Feyenoord, especially their striker, Santiago Jimenez, who will be available again for this game after coming back from suspension to do some serious damage in the last couple of rounds. Atletico are playing some good football at the moment, but they're not quite reaching the heights I think we know they're capable of. I know Griezmann is absolutely flying, but the rest of the team is not quite keeping up with him at the moment. I think this is a real good opportunity for Feyenoord to stamp their authority on this group tonight, and I'm going to go for a 2-1 Feyenoord win. Potentially a controversial one, that, considering how good defensively Atletico can be, but it was 3-2 to Atletico in Madrid, so I definitely think Feyenoord are capable of pulling off a result tonight. On to everyone's favourite group, it is Group F, and it is AC Milan against Borussia Dortmund, 0-0 in the reverse fixture. And that result tonight could be enough to set up Borussia Dortmund for a qualification place. All they would have to do is beat Paris Saint-Germain at home in the final game, and they would be through. Easier said than done, I know, but I think that is probably what Borussia Dortmund are going to be targeting. AC Milan's form has been really, really poor this season. Yes, they have been able to get good results in the Champions League, but I don't know, when you compare it to their league form, I'm not fully convinced on them yet. Yes, they beat Paris Saint-Germain at home, but then they got easily beaten away. And like I say, Borussia Dortmund got some good results against Newcastle, so I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. I think Milan will probably still be the favourites going into this one, but I just think Borussia Dortmund have it right in the Champions League this season, and I don't think AC Milan are quite at it. We'll see, but that's just the way I see this one going. The other game in that group, while that game is going on, is Paris Saint-Germain up against Newcastle, and Paris Saint-Germain are going to be desperately out for revenge. And I was very, very tempted to go for that also beautiful football irony and go for 4-1 to PSG, but I'm only going to go for 3-1. I think Newcastle are still capable of doing something tonight, because we've seen over the weekend when they get their players back, the likes of Bruno Guimaraes back from suspension, Isak back from injury, they can turn over good teams, and beating Chelsea 4-1, albeit with 10 men, is a very good result and sets them up beautifully for a game against PSG. But since that 4-1 defeat to Newcastle, PSG have gone from stride to stride. They're putting together some massive results. They hit Monaco for, I think it was 5, potentially even 6 at the weekend. So I still think PSG are going to take this one, as good as Newcastle can be on their day. This could potentially see Newcastle's chances of qualification ended tonight if the other result doesn't go their way as well. But we'll see. I wish the best for Newcastle. I hope they do pull off something tonight. But I think the way PSG have played the last couple of weeks, I think it's going to be one step too far for Newcastle United. On to Group G, and we start off with Manchester City taking on RB Leipzig. Not really too much to say about this one, even though these two sides are the best two sides in the group. It was a 3-1 win to Manchester City in Leipzig, so I'm going to go for a 4-1 win to Manchester City tonight. I just think they're far too good for any of the teams in this group, and this game is going to prove it, and it will mean that Manchester City will guarantee themselves top spot in the group. The other game in the group between Young Boys and Zvezda, Red Star Belgrade, is a lot more interesting. It was a 2-2 draw last time out. Young Boys are, I would say, the slight favourites going into this one. We all know that Zvezda are capable of causing some upsets, but I'm just going to edge it in favour of the Swiss side this evening, and I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to Young Boys. And finally, we have Group H, starting off with the other early kickoff this evening between Shakhtar Donetsk and Royal Antwerp. And I gave Royal Antwerp the benefit of the doubt going into this fixture way back when. They got the 2-0 lead and then lost 3-2. I just don't think they're good enough for this competition. With the greatest of respects to them, they've put in a good effort without really having any reward for it. I think Shakhtar are too good for them. I'm going to go for 2-0 to Shakhtar Donetsk. And then finally, we have Barcelona taking on FC Porto in a game where Barcelona fans have been starting to lose their patience with Xavi as the manager. A 1-1 draw with Rayo Vallecano at the weekend. A string of poor performances. A lot of players missing from the team due to injuries and several other things. Obviously, we've already spoken about Gavi's injury for Spain, and I've got to look at it and say that they lost to Shakhtar Donetsk. Porto are playing very well, both domestically and in the Champions League. So brace yourself for my shock result of the night. I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw, which will leave that group very finely poised with Barcelona and Porto both on 10 points going into the final game. Those are going to be all of my predictions for today's matches. Let me know down in the comment section all of your thoughts ahead of today's games. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you again tomorrow morning when we'll do it all over again for groups A, B, C and D.